Welcome back to Southeast Texas Weekly. I'm Kevin Steele. Talking politics. The political combat continues with three of the greatest guys you ever want to meet. Kent Bettman, the Hardin County GOP chairman, Michael Lindsay with Lindsay and Parsons, and Nathan Buddy Reynolds, also here to talk politics today. We appreciate you all for being here.
Good to be here.
All
Good
right,
to be here.
Give me a quick word on this matter of the border, folks. I mean, the word bizarre was used regarding the president from a Democratic congressman. He said it's bizarre for the president to be able to play pool in Colorado just days before a trip to Texas in which the president didn't go to the border to make what he believed to be an important message of, here I am on the border taking care of this border crisis, a humanitarian crisis. Was it an error on the part of the administration?
No, I don't think so. It's a children of crisis, and it definitely needs to be responded to. And if we're going to call ourselves a Christian nation, we need to step up and take care of the children. But on the other hand, the House of Representatives has had a bill in front of it for the last 12 months, and I'm not sure it'd be anything but show for the president to show up on the border at this time.
Does it make the United States of America less Christian if it says we must enforce our immigration laws, in your view?
It doesn't make us less Christian. What makes us less Christian is not being to show support for children that are involved in something like that. If it's that big an issue, the president, the governor, everybody should be there. I know all the congressmen are trying to get down there, and they're being told they can't come in and view it. So no, Christian responsibility means, yeah, we got to take care of those kids. The first thing is you got to see them, and the fact that the president hasn't been there, it's a pretty bad indication of his policy.
Well, 12-year Oklahoma Congressman Ernest Istook said that the administration could save 99% of its $3.7 billion plan by putting the undocumented and in many cases unaccompanied children on a plane and flying them back to their host countries as opposed to housing them in many cases for years, feeding them, taking care of their health needs, et cetera, et cetera. That's a guy who's dealt with immigration issues for a couple dozen years. Wrong policy, in your view?
Absolutely the wrong policy. There's a reason those people left their situation in the first place, and sending them back is kind of ludicrous.
Puts them right back in the
right
violence,
back. They're going to come right back, and it'll be a repeat of the same situation. Maybe we should address the reasons they're trying to come across our border. And if the president goes down there, that's going to put a greater stress on the already limited resources as far as security and the border protection we're trying to enforce down there.
What do you think of this matter of starting the flights? You'll notice in the Murrieta, California scenario where protesters stood and said, we don't want these immigrants here in Murrieta, California. You'll notice that the flight went from Texas to Murrieta, California. Then I think the bus went to San Ysidro, and then they went back to Murrieta, California. There's a lot of transportation involved there. Is Congressman Istook wrong in saying that a valid policy might be flying them back to their home countries?
I predict that that's where they're going to end up. And the funny thing is, we've had a lot of children caught in human trafficking down in Mission, Texas, and most of those kids do end up going back home. Some of them are leaders of their countries that have gone through the program there at Brownsville.
But does that make the Republican Party hard-hearted, cold in spirit to say these children need to go back?
That's the way it'll be sold. You and I would not let our children depart from our side no matter what. We do whatever we could to keep them close to us. And, you know, we give humanitarian aid to most of those countries where they're coming from, and that's not being addressed. So sure, the kids will eventually make it back home to Ecuador, Nicaragua, El Salvador, all the places they're coming from, and Istook will look like a genius.
Would you argue that Governor Rick Perry is one of the greatest governors in U.S. history because of his gesture to the president on the tarmac when the president arrived recently? Nathan Buddy Reynolds?
You will never hear me say that Rick Perry is one of the greatest governors that's ever existed.
I'm shocked.
And I'll just stop right there.
Well, there was this big controversy as to whether the president would be shaking hands with Governor Rick Perry because of Perry's discussion about having not been able to address the president on these immigration issues at any point. I think actually having sent knowing about a serious problem on the Texas-Mexico border since 2005, and then asking 2 years ago, Mr. President, can we sit down and talk about immigration? There's been some bad blood between the governor and the White House. Does it mean anything at all, or am I just filling airspace?
Well, the governor of Texas hasn't been able to influence our 2 Texas senators to push any constructive legislation forward and seal the borders. Rick Perry is grandstanding on this issue.
Grandstanding.
And I like what Buddy said a minute ago. We're talking about spending $3 billion to care for these children. Our foreign aid to Central America is currently $300 million. If we'd spend a little money down there, maybe conditions could be improved down there for the people there to create better jobs and a better social system.
Interesting argument. Would that help?
While the governor is grandstanding, he's actually spending Texas dollars solving the problem, while the president comes up with something that he knows is not going to be approved if it has to go through Congress. So I'd say the only one actually taking action is the governor of Texas.
Well, on that word, seeing no argument, we think we have consensus. So we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll talk more here on Southeast Texas Weekly.